So you want to be a fighter? Hey everybody, it's Luke from Nerdcraft HQ, where I build some cool stuff and paint minis, but that's not why we're here today. We are here to talk about playing a fighter in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. I should mention that I do run some homebrew rules that might not work for your campaign, but that's okay. You don't have to use them. Other than that, I don't know. That's pretty much it. I'm just here to dish out my opinions on playing a fighter, so let's get started. Let me start off by saying that fighters are extremely diverse. They're probably the most diverse class in D&D, and people usually choose fighters because they just want to hack and slash, or they simply like fighting. They like the damage output. So it could be a little bit overwhelming when there are so many ideas, especially when it comes to an origin story. So I am going to list ideas to run with, and some of these things I'm just inspired by that are around me, and some things are maybe inspired by pop culture. So, we've got a mercenary, or a gladiator, a knight, an enforcer of some kind, a guard, whether that be for a town or a city or even a private guard, some sort of champion, whether that's a royal champion or a champion of a god, poor street kids that are just fighting and become proficient at fighting that way, or rich, classically trained kids. It could even be the lush at the tavern who becomes a brawler, or an ex-soldier, or a current soldier. The list really goes on, and I don't want to bore you with that. But it's all helpful in terms of our next step, which is a quick build. So the quick build is going to be really determined by what kind of fighter you want to play. If you want to play a melee close combat fighter, then you're going to want to choose strength as your highest, and perhaps dexterity as your, or rather constitution as your second highest. And then whatever else you want after that. If you're going to be a ranged fighter, obviously you want your dexterity to be your highest score. And I would still consider making constitution your second highest score, just because if you're going to put a lot of damage out there, likely you're going to receive a lot of damage as well. In terms of stats beyond that, I would say that there's sort of a trope that tends to happen where people use intelligence as their dump stat when they're playing a fighter. And while in that moment it seems fine because you're kind of focused on dealing a lot of damage and fighting and being in combat, outside of combat you're kind of limiting yourself. And if you are staying true to that character and playing them how the stats are and whatnot, as a player you might feel limited and held back by the lack of intelligence, or the dump stat rather. And I also just don't like the term dump stat anyways. It implies that stat isn't important to you, and in reality all the stats are important. And not everyone can have high stats in everything, but that's why we have diverse characters, so that they complement each other. That's why you work in a team or a group or a party, so that, you know, where you lack here, the other person can pick up for. And that's kind of the beauty of it. So a way they can help you determine where you want to place your ability scores is what fighting style that you choose to have. There is a crazy long list of fighting styles, and I'm going to read some of them. Now, bear with me. I do like lists, and I know they can be tedious, but I will try and make this one fun somehow. And I don't know what that looks like yet as I'm reading this to you, but I'll do that in the editing, and hopefully we'll see something cool.
Hey pals, hey friends, I promised you something interesting, but basically it's really stupid. I just Google searched each word and then picked either the first or the funniest image that I could find within the page. So there's some really stupid images in here, and I don't endorse any of them. So here's the edit.
So let's go ahead and start. There is archery, defense, dueling, great weapon fighting, protection, two-weapon fighting, blind fighting, close quarter shooter, interception, not to be confused with inception, mariner protection, whatever that means, thrown weapon fighting, unarmed fighting, brawler, brutal strike, careful strike, fast reloading, gathering steps, hurler, which sounds kind of fun, piercing shot, power attack, versatility, and musketeer. That's going to be the last one I read because, wow, that is a long and exhausting list. But I think one thing that people really think when they want to play a fighter is how many times they can attack. And so we are going to talk about the action surge. So, this is why you're here, huh? Yeah. I guess you could have just told me earlier. You know, if this was the only reason why you were here, you could have saved me and you know, a few minutes at least. I just wish you would have said something. I know that all you care about as a fighter is your action surge, okay? I know that. JK, but not really, because I've seen some amazing things happen with the action surge. I've seen the tides of battle change in one turn because someone used a precise and amazing action surge. Now, normally, or below 5th level, you would have attack, action surge, which would allow you to attack again, and a possible bonus action. Now, once you get to 5th level, and you have extra attack, which says that you can attack twice instead of once when taking the attack action on your turn, the way I interpret it as a DM, for whoever's playing as a fighter, would be attack, extra attack, action surge, attack, extra attack. That's 4 attacks in one turn. And I'm sure there are people who would disagree with me or who rule that differently. And honestly, that doesn't really matter to me too much. They can play however they want to play. But someone who's playing a fighter, obviously they want to attack, they want to hack and slash, and I want to give that to them. I think it's way more fun. The fighter's always going to be the one, not always, but most likely going to be the one who's ahead of the pack when it comes to battling the bad E's in your campaign. So why not? It's their shtick, let them have it. At least that's what I do. Martial archetypes are the subclasses for the fighter class, and they're pretty much just like any other subclass. You get perks as you level up in them. I'm not going to go too deep into them because, well, frankly, I don't want to bore you, but I will mention the subclasses that are listed in the Player's Handbook. That is the Champion, the Battlemaster, and the Eldritch Knight. Now, I sincerely hope that you do not sleep on the Battlemaster or the Eldritch Knight. They are both really cool. Specifically the Battlemaster. I've seen some crazy things happen when the fighter used their maneuvers, which is a term that is explained in the Battlemaster section, to really change the way that the battlefield was going, or that the battle was going on the field, rather. And I just highly recommend that you don't take my word on it. Crack open the good old PHB and or online and read for yourself, because there are some really cool things that you can do with those. And again, those are just the ones that are listed in the Player's Handbook. There are other martial archetypes for fighters that you can look into. So in conclusion, fighters are super diverse, and they're a super great entry class to playing D&D. They're pretty easy to play and a lot of fun, honestly. And whether you're new or whether you're super experienced, fighter can be a perfect class for you. So work with your DM, make it your own, and keep fighting that good fight. Thanks for watching, and if you found something useful, liking and sharing this video would be great. I have other videos like this in my So You Wanna Be playlist on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. Talk to me in the comments, and there are other ways to support me in the description below, including my Instagram. I hope you have a lovely day. Peace out. Wow, whoa. Attack, extra attack, wow. Action surge, attack, 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 wow. Extra attack, that's 4 attacks in one turn. Whoa. Action surge, extra attack, wow. And honestly, that doesn't really matter to me too much. They can play however they want to play.